This is Half Heart Hardcore, a challenge where I take on hardcore Minecraft with only half a heart, which means that the slightest mistake or the tiniest bit of damage is enough to end the series in one go. And today we're starting our official series, because I want to see what I'm able to accomplish within this challenge. So join me in this journey where danger is around every corner, and see how long I can survive. Okay, so we're here. And we're beginning, and we've actually started within a village, which is actually an amazing spawn, because it's going to give us a lot of opportunity to get some nice stuff early on, as long as we get some chests, which so far we've not got. And it also doesn't look like there's any farms or crops anywhere in this village, which does suck a little, but it does mean that we get to start off with a bed, which is incredibly useful, as I learned from when I tried this out before. Let's just get some stone first to get a couple stone tools going. And just like that, we've already got some nice stone tools going now, which is going to make starting off very easy. And we're already at a great point, seeing as we've only been in this world for what can only really be like a maximum of 2 minutes so far. I am going to kill some cows along my way, though, just to make sure that I get some food and a little bit of leather if I'm going to need any. I should also probably be smart and actually craft these hay bales into bread, seeing as I've gathered them. Oh, and we have just found a ruined portal. This definitely has potential to give us something useful, but we do have to be careful, though, when we walk down any sort of hill, that we're not going too steep. Now, we do have to be careful as well, because this magma is a one-shot kill, but it doesn't seem like anything too great. I don't mind taking some of this armor, though. Even though armor isn't a crazy help for this, it certainly is not underappreciated. But I think before we can really consider doing too much else, we're really going to want to find some iron. So I'm checking surfaces of these caves to see if there's anything. But so far, no luck. Well, I've already traveled a decent amount, and so far, I'm actually yet to have any luck with finding any iron yet. So I think probably what I want to just do for now is find a nice little area and build up a small temporary home, just so we have some refuge and somewhere where we can stay safe. Ideally, though, we do want to get out of the forest and build it in a more open area like this, just so that we can see our surroundings and nothing can sneak up on us. You know what? I feel like this area could work very well for us. We have quite a nice open area, which is going to allow us to see around us. And there's also a bit of like different stuff around here as well, so we have variety. So I'm just going to build a classic wooden box, which usually, you know, I don't like to go for, but in a case like this, it's kind of the best option. And even though we immediately slept through it, we have just survived our first night in this world, and the house is nearly done. We just need to get a little bit more wood, and then maybe some stuff for a fence. If you saw my other half-heart video, you probably will recognize a lot of what I'm doing. I am just kind of using a lot of the same strategy that I used last time, so I'm kind of just speeding through that. And if you want to see it more in depth, then go check out my other video where I tried out this mode for the first time. And it might not be the greatest little place ever, but it does feel a little bit like home. And just like I have before, we're going to put a nice little safety fence around so that mobs are not going to be such a direct issue. However, if we want to consider any of this area safe, we're going to need a whole lot more torches. And just like so, we now have a little bit of our safety fence built. And I also just want a way to be able to check that everything is safe behind me. So we're going to add these trapdoor windows looking out the back. It's going to help us check out behind us before we leave the house. So now for us to see any more progression happening, we are going to need to find some ores, whether that be coal or iron or maybe even copper. We are going to need to venture near some caves. Now, we're not going to be venturing far into anything. We're just mainly going to be checking the entrances to see if there is anything nice that we can grab safely. There's a bunch of coal down there, but I do just want to check. Looks like there's a dead end, and I don't see any mobs. So let's carefully make my way down. So I think that is all the coal we're going to be able to get from here safely. Maybe just grab these couple more bits. Okay, we got all of that coal. No worries. So now we've managed to get a decent amount of coal, meaning that we can make some more torches to just make our base that bit safer. So now I would really like to find some iron, because it's going to be hard for us to do much until we get some iron. However, if we don't see any good caves soon, what I'm going to do is just try and create a bit of a staircase mine. It's raining right now, but it's not a thunderstorm, so no mobs should be spawning from this. But it is always important to check, because if this was a thunderstorm, then we could get mobs spawning all around us, which would not be ideal. Dang it, and this is such a big cave, but there just doesn't seem to be any iron whatsoever in it. Now, I am getting a little concerned about this, because when it's raining, it's kind of hard to tell how close we're getting to night. So I am just going to every now and then keep checking to see if I can sleep. I do see the color of the sunset just over there, though. But luckily, we're back at my house, and it has just turned to night. But it looks like we've managed to sleep before anything spawned. So now what I want to try and do is start mining into the ground to find some iron. But as always, playing this with a lot of caution and not running into anything too quickly. I should be making sure that I'm making torches and lighting this up along the way, though. Okay, my pickaxe is broken, and so far, no sign of any iron. So we are going to have to come back down here in a second. But before I do that, I do just want to build a little bit of a structure going up around this, just so that I'm able to feel like I'm exiting safely when I'm coming out of these mines. And we've got a nice bit of cobble now, which is going to allow us to make a couple pickaxes. And now we're just going to keep going until we manage to find some iron. Okay. This is a very scary cave that we found, but it looks like most of this area around me is pretty safe. We do need to be careful of all around here. We haven't got a shield yet, so if we come up against any mobs, it could be very concerning. But we've got a little bit of iron, And before I even consider looking around anywhere else, I want to just go up and make a shield just to make sure that I'm safe when exploring anything. And while I'm waiting for this to smelt, what I'm going to start setting up, we can actually make a little area to be able to put some animals. And you know, it's certainly not anything impressive, but as long as we can get a couple animals in here, that's what matters. And chickens are, of course, the best animal for this, being such a great early game farm animal. Certainly the easiest to get and quickest to grow. There we go, and we can breed these up and bench them off. Also chuck in this egg and chuck in this egg. Nothing. All right, well, that's fine. And as always, make sure that we are sleeping when it starts to get dark. I am terrified of the nighttime in this world. But we've managed to get now a little bit of iron, meaning that we can finally make a shield, which is going to make this so much safer. And I think some of this other iron, I'm just going to make an iron pickaxe just to speed up our mining. So we gotta move very carefully and make sure that we light up the way through any caves we encounter. But look at that. We've managed to get a bit more iron with both of these veins. Looked like that was only one vein, but this is at least two. Oh, it's three. It's three. There we go. Oh, it's more. It's more. Right, that's great. And of course, making sure that we leave any cave that we go through lit up. Now, this cave is certainly too big to even consider making our way through, and I nearly fell straight down there. We need to be very careful when we're mining around us. And I want to try and create just a safe tunnel way to get us through and past this cave. Okay, so I have done a whole bunch of mining, and it's not the greatest thing in the world, but 44 raw iron is certainly not bad, especially during this. Now, I do see, looks like it's night up at the surface, so I'm gonna sleep down here before I even think about heading up. And when we do head up, we're gonna have to be incredibly careful, and I am just gonna block that off, because I don't want to end up falling into there and dying. But with this level of iron, we're going to be able to make big upgrades to all of our stuff. But now, while that iron is smelting, I'm just going to do a little bit more to make the area around my base a lot safer. And in order to do that, we're just going to stick some torches going around to hopefully stop any mobs spawning too close to my base. Okay, there we go. It's not a massive area, but just having more of these torches around is going to make this a lot safer. And hopefully some of our iron should have smelted up by now, which is going to allow us to make a bucket, because I want to be able to start making a little bit of a farm. Mostly just so that we can keep seeds going for our chickens. Alright, so I've made a little bit of extension over here to give us some area to put our farm. And finally, get some wheat seeds growing. And our iron is done. So we can upgrade all of our tools. We're going to need to get some wood for sticks first. But now we can start upgrading all of our tool set into iron, which is just going to make everything that little bit better. And so now we're up to where we roughly were when we tried this before. And what I want to start doing from now is getting the stuff together to make me more prepared for coming up against mobs. And then I also want to make a super, super safe base. Now, I do have a slight plan when it comes to making myself safer. And that is going to be a bow. Because a bow is going to allow us to attack mobs from a distance without having to get close enough where they can hit us. The only thing is, to get a bow, we're going to need some string. And to get string, we're going to need to be able to kill some spiders, which is easier said than done. Now, I'm a little intrigued as to what I can maybe find through caves. And I immediately see a skeleton that I don't want to go anywhere near. So I'm just going to look to see if there is another cave. But luckily I did come across a couple earlier. Oh, I heard a spider. I did just hear a spider. Okay, wait. We might be able to locate... Oh, the spider just died and dropped string. Oh my god. Oh my god. That is incredibly lucky. The only thing is, we are going to have to go down there if we want to get it. So I think first thing that I try and do is be able to look down there. Now, I don't actually see anything too dangerous. There is a zombie over there, but until he gets close to us, he shouldn't be any danger. The real thing we need to look out for is skeletons. Okay, yeah, I see a skeleton over there. And I think what's going to be the best thing to do here is to just go up closer to the surface to try and get that skeleton to despawn. And then we go back down to reset that area down there. The string should still be there for the next 5 minutes. And that is, if anything, even worse. So we're just going to try it again. And you know what they say? Third time is the charm. Because this time it's going to be completely safe. There is a zombie down there. Oh, that's a creeper and that's a skeleton and a creeper. We are just going to leave this and reset again. Okay. Number 4. It looks like that zombie's still there. And the creeper's here, but I don't see a skeleton. I see a skeleton. Oh my god, it hit me. Oh, it hit me, but I think the projectile protection that we've got on this chest plate and these boots saved us. Look at the arrows sticking out my head. I think we are going to block that up and go nowhere near that. Oh my god, I'm actually still so freaked out. It actually like shot us. Oh my gosh. Well, at least we know that our armor actually does at least something for us. Because that actually just saved me completely. I want to head back up, although it is night. And stupidly, I forgot to bring my bed with me. But luckily, we have taken some safety precautions. So, it's not going to be incredibly dangerous coming out of here. But we're still going to move slowly because there's a skeleton there. And if we're going to third person, doesn't seem like there's anything behind. So I'm just going to come around here. All right. But this is possibly good because having a couple mobs spawn and then it turn to day is going to mean that we're getting some stuff burning. So the skeletons and zombies are going to be taken care of, but stuff like spiders don't burn. But we do get a pillager patrol, which is incredibly scary, and I want to stay very far away from. We managed to get some bones from that skeleton, though, which I am not going to complain about, because bones offer us the possibility of getting dogs. Now, I do see a spider, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to smack it to take its aggro. But luckily for us, spiders are 2 blocks wide. Unless we just run back and forth. Has it lost aggression on me? It has. Oh my gosh. There we go. Just going to get away from it. It's okay if it follows me. It seems to have stopped. And we did it. Okay, we only got 2 string, which isn't enough for a bow. However, 2 string is enough for a fishing rod, which could give us the possibility of being able to fish up a bow. The only issue with a fishing rod is it's not guaranteed. I think I'm happy to go for it because we could get some very good stuff from fishing. Like I say, there is no promise that we're going to get a bow and this fishing rod could break before we get one. But I'm happy to take my chances. So let's see what I'm able to fish up. Alright, so we're a decent way through the durability of this fishing rod now. All we've really managed to catch is fish. But it is turning to nighttime again, and I think the fishing strategy might not be working, for now at least. So, we're going to use the strategy that we just used before to get a spider, to hopefully be able to get some string to make a bow ourselves. So just like we did before, we're going to let it become night and wait for a couple things to spawn. Okay, we got a couple things spawning. I've not spotted any spiders yet, though. So I might just wait it a little bit longer. There's really not a lot spawning, though. I do see some zombies, a creeper, a skeleton. But no sign of a spider. Oh, I see one there. So what we're going to have to do is hopefully that doesn't despawn. But now if we sleep, that should kill off all of the zombies and the skeletons. Because they'll burn in the sun. Which means that hopefully there is still a spider left. Although it could have just despawned. I think we're going to have to go run and see if I can find it. I think that it despawned. Oh, dang it. Yeah, it looks like all that is left is just this creeper. Unless that's a spider. That is a spider right there. We're going to hit once. We're going to lose aggro. And because I'm using an axe this time, there we go. It's died. And we got 2 string. And instead of crafting this string into a fishing rod, I think we're just going to save it and wait for the next night to get a little bit more string and be able to craft a bow. But I am also going to be making sure that I'm picking up any bones and arrows that drop from skeletons. And while I wait for it to turn to night again, I might as well do a little bit more fishing. Because maybe, just maybe, we might be able to fish up that bow. Oh my god, we just fished up string. you know, that works just as well. String can work just as well as fishing up a bow. Because with that, we've now reached that 3 string that we're going to need to craft a bow. And with this bow and the arrows we have now, as well as some arrows that I hope to get down the line, we are so much safer now because we can attack from a range without having to worry about putting ourselves in as much danger. Now, these chickens are going to be somewhat important to us because chickens, that one didn't, but chickens will often give us feathers, which is one of the ingredients that we need to be able to craft arrows. So now with this bow and a chicken farm going, we're hopefully going to be able to make ourselves a whole lot stronger and a whole lot safer. Well, now that we are a little bit stronger having our bow with us, I think it's probably time to start trying to plan out a little bit better of a base. You know, there's nothing wrong with this, but we could definitely have better. And I think the first part of that is going to involve looking for a good spot. Now, I think the main thing that we're really looking for is an open grassy plains, which there's quite a bit of over in this direction. So I definitely wouldn't mind having a look around. To be honest, I feel like we could do something good with some of the stuff around here. Unless I just want to see if there's maybe a better spot up this hill. You know what? I'm not sure. I think maybe we just try and aim for a spot down there. The only thing with being up on a hill is it does give a lot of chance for us to fall, because even this, if I were to jump forward here, then I could land down there, and that would be an instant death. So as much as I'd like the elevated ground, I think having a steep hill or mountain or whatever is just going to be more of an issue, if anything. So yeah, I honestly think just a nice spot like here would probably work. We might have to tear out a bit of this ground, but I am going to start working on this. Maybe start planning out and trying to design the basics of what we're going to build. And it's probably going to take a fair few materials, but I'm going to work on this, and I'll see you guys very soon. Okay, so this area is now cleared out, and I've started laying out a little bit of the footprint of the base that I want to make. And as you can see, we have a good bit of flat area around, which means that this is going to be great for looking out in front of us. But I think one of the most important things for designing a base in this challenge is that we're going to need to make sure that we're well protected and well defended. And so big walls are really going to be important. So let's start getting some materials and building up these walls. Well, a lot of time has passed since I last spoke to you, but we have managed to start up the building of what I think is a great base. Now, I've really leaned in to the castle vibe, and I think having this elevation as well as the big sturdy walls is going to be great for us. But yeah, hopefully this big castle should be able to offer us quite a safe little base that we can stay in. However, I do have one or two plans to make this thing just that little bit safer. And we're going to work on one that I'm not fully sure will work, but it's definitely worth the test, because any bit of that extra safety is going to be really, really good. So you might spot at different points around the castle, I've left these little windows that are supposed to be sort of like towers. Sort of supposed to be like windows that you could defend from. And we are going to be having someone or something defending in these towers. Now I just need to find... This is it. So I've got the stuff together. And we're going to put some snow golems in these towers. Snow golems which will hopefully be able to add us that extra level of defense around the towers. Because you can see them up there, and if they spot any mobs down here, they should start throwing snowballs, which I think should be able to fit through those windows. We might need to change those windows. We'll see. But these ones are much bigger and almost definitely should be fine. And of course, we've already have one escaped snowman that we're just going to have to kill. There we go. That's a lot better. So yeah, these guys should definitely be able to fire snowballs out of the windows. And hopefully, like I say, that's going to offer us just that bit more protection from any mobs that want to come and try and get into our castle walls. Okay, and there we go. Just like that, we now have snow golems surrounding the whole of the base. And at some point, we're also going to have to make sure we get some iron golems. But now that the defense and the safety of the castle is built up, we need to start working on where I'm going to live and where I'm going to keep my stuff. And so we're going to probably just put something right here. So I'm going to go and figure that out right now. And so, just like that, we now have our base built up in the center, well, I guess like the back center of this castle. And we are definitely going to be able to start filling this up with stuff. For now, I've only really got a couple basic things in here. But we're going to be able to start moving all of our stuff over and into there. However, there is one more thing that I would like to do before we end off this video. And that is actually to do with some of my movement. Because as I've been walking around, very occasionally I'll come across stuff like this. And if I'm not paying full attention, that's not a drop that would kill me usually. But with half a heart, even the slightest drop would be enough to end my series instantly. Luckily, however, I think I've figured out a possible way around this. And that would be to try and travel a little bit more by horse. Because when you fall distances on horses, the horse is the one that takes the damage instead of you. So not only would a horse mean that I could move around faster, it'd also make me a decent bit safer from the worries of fall damage. Now, it does mean there's that slight chance of me going under, an area that's not tall enough and suffocating, which would of course be very bad. But hopefully we can avoid that. And I think overall, having a horse is going to make stuff safer. We've just got to find a decent horse. So we might have to tame a couple horses until we get one that's good. And this horse is taking a while to tame. But it'll come around eventually, right? Because it's going to do it this time. There we go. Finally tamed this horse. And to be honest, it's a decent speed. It looks like it's only got 2 blocks of jump. We'll definitely keep that one in mind, but we'll try out a couple others first. That one already doesn't feel like it's moving that quickly, so we'll go and try out another. And this one is pretty slow. And so's that one. This one feels like it's moving a bit faster. Okay, this one's got a decent amount of speed. What about the jump? That looks like it could be 3 blocks. Let's try over on a tree. So this tree is 3 blocks off the ground. Okay, yeah, I think that's probably... Yeah, just over 3 blocks of jump. Which isn't necessarily the best, but I think that this is pretty good, especially for a starter horse. And this is going to make it much easier to move around and just make everywhere that little bit safer, which is going to be very important. But again, like I say, we do just need to be careful with low ceilings because we don't want the horse to suffocate us and kill us. So we're just going to tie it up outside for now. But all in all, I think that we have done some good work here. But that is all the time that we have in today's episode. Now, thank you guys so much for watching. And if you watched this far and enjoyed the video, please do consider leaving a like and subscribe if you want to see more. Just click all of the buttons below, do all the YouTube stuff. I really hope you guys have enjoyed this as much as I have, because this has been pretty fun. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.